Hi everyone, I'm Jim Tay. I'm back today to talk about executive condominiums, Lumina Grand in fact, where I'm blessed to be one of the project ICs. Recently, I did a podcast video with my fellow ICs and I have some highlights to share with you here in this video. I go through key topics relating to an EC purchase, what you should look out for, your financing, and many other things. If there's anything that interests you at all, I have them listed out nicely in a contents page that you can click in the description below to check out. Just feel free to go to any of the section which interests you. And after that, if you're still interested in Lumina Grand, do take note that we have still a few more days where the e-applications are open up to the 29th of February. I'll have my contact details as well. Do get in touch with me immediately right now if you'd like to qualify for the second timer launch happening this coming Saturday, 2nd of March. I'll see you soon.
Now, we saw a good 52% sold on the day of the booking. Now, to my fellow ICs here, was that expected from you all?
Personally, I feel that 52% is considerable, a very good result. Having to say so, in our first booking itself, always comprises our first timer and second timer, all right, where our second timer has a quota of 30% to fulfill. So having said so, usually for last year, we have an Altura on the market itself, which is right next to us. They have already taken more than 80% of the status right now. So having our first timer to come in to fulfill at least about 22 to 25% is considerable, very good result. Yeah. So what do you think, my other IC?
Yeah, I think Lumina Grand is definitely a very, very good showing for EC. One reason I think for that is really because of its attractive price. I think if we saw the news recently, the Tengah Plantation, they have a new plot of land that was just bidded at $701 per square feet per plot ratio. Yeah, I think we all probably saw that. So Lumina Grand at about 620-ish per square feet per plot ratio, I think is already set in stone that it's very likely no longer going to be any plots of land below $700. So it's really a very good entry price, and I think the buyers can really see that. That's why we achieved such a good result during the launch.
Now, what are the eligibility requirements in order to do that? And also the income ceiling and any restrictions on the nationality. Now, for this, we will, to my IC Jaden, he will take on this. This is his field of expert.
Okay, so I'm going to discuss with you, okay, regarding about the eligibility requirements, okay, for purchasing of an EC. So mainly we are only looking at 4 different groups, which is public scheme. Okay, so where public scheme is actually a married couple. Okay, so the next group of purchase will be actually under fiancé scheme. Okay, so those boyfriend, girlfriend. Okay, followed by orphan. Then lastly will be joint single. Okay, so what is the main difference? Like, okay, nowadays we actually see more of a public scheme and in this EC purchase and fiancé scheme as well. Okay, and not really getting to see any orphan scheme. Okay, and a very low percentage of joint single scheme purchasing of EC. And so public scheme mainly will be comprises of those married person. Okay, then where at least age 21 to be eligible to purchase an EC. So we always remember that main applicant, okay, basically will be Singapore citizen. Okay, must be a Singapore citizen. Okay, then the second applicant, okay, either be a Singapore citizen or Singapore permanent residents. Okay, so fiancé scheme, okay, upon TOP key collection, okay, you got to produce your merit cert. All right, and lastly that I want to go through with you will be joint single, okay, at least age 35, okay, to be eligible for this EC purchase.
Now, Jaden, a common question has always been asked, because this is part of subsidized purchase. Do I need to do HFE?
Wow, this is a very good question. Okay, it's absolutely not required to apply for HFE. Yeah? Okay, because I do still hear that, okay, probably you would want to let your client know, okay, you got to apply for HFE. Okay, to purchase an EC, okay, totally not required. Okay, we understand that EC is still governed by HDB terms and conditions. Okay, where there's an income ceiling of 16,000. Okay, you need to form up a proper family nucleus, okay, to be eligible to purchase. Okay, but HFE is totally not required. Okay, so to finance your EC, okay, basically there's only one option where there's only bank loan is allowed. Okay, there's no HDB loan.
Now, next will be our financing options and payment scheme. So, is it very different from purchasing a condo? Now, over to you, Jim, who will advise us on that.
Sure. So let me touch a little bit more on the financing for EC. I think based on what we shared earlier, EC falls under the HDB scope of public properties. So because of that, for the loan restriction, we fall under the mortgage servicing ratio, MSR, which means only a maximum 30% of the gross monthly income can be used to finance this loan. All right. In terms of the difference between this and private condominium, it's actually quite a huge difference. Because for private condominium, we use the TDSR, which is 55%. Okay. So in terms of loan, we actually have a loan table that we actually did up. If a buyer has a maximum income that is at the loan ceiling of 16,000, assuming they take a 30-year loan, their loan quantum is only about 950,000. That's compared to a private condo where it's about, I think, about 1.4 or $1.5 million easily. So it's a huge difference. Another thing that we are aware is that for EC is the unique class of property that's perfect for upgraders. Why? Because the buyer doesn't need to pay ABSD. They also don't have to sell their HDB flat immediately. We have the deferred payment schemes, as mentioned. Buyer just has to pay a 3% premium in the price, and then they can hold on to the HDB until the EC TOP before they sell off their flat. In fact, all these restrictions are one of the key reasons why ECs tend to appreciate in price so much after its TOP and after the 5 years MOP mark, because the new buyers who come in are not under these rulings. Maybe Jason, you want to share some of your own experiences about that?
Truthfully, what Jim has shared, because right now, if they own the EC, they are restricted by the MSR together with TDSR. But the true fact is, after the MOP itself, the buyers can be any walk of life, could be a single PR, can be a single SC. When they make a purchase, they are actually doing their TDSR stress test rather than MSR. So in terms of the capital appreciation on the growth, you will probably see that the buyers are very more in tune to commit to a private condo, which is an EC after the MOP.
One thing I also understand is that EC has a bridging loan, which is really, really very useful for those that own an existing HDB. Jaden, maybe you want to share a little bit more about bridging loan?
All right, so when we're actually talking about special bridging loan, is that when we actually break down the payments, okay, in cash, CPF, then the housing loan. So basically, we understand that housing loan, we actually assess that individual according to their age, okay, their income, okay, to find out, okay, what is their loan size. So when we actually find out the loan size, right, thereafter, there's actually a kind of a shortfall, okay. So for the shortfall amount, okay, we can actually apply using the special bridging loan, okay, where for those who actually own the existing HDB flat, okay, they can use it like a collateral, okay, collateral to bridge, okay, the differences, the shortfall amount. All right, so making sure that, okay, the payment breakdowns will be in cash, okay, CPF. Then we identify the shortfall using, okay, the individual, okay, affordability, okay, of the income, okay, and the age, okay, to find the loan size. Then thereafter, okay, the shortfall amount. Okay, then the shortfall we use the existing HDB to bridge.
Look through the questions on the floor. All right. Well, Jaden, they are asking whether, if you do not have a housing flat right now, can they still apply for the bridging loan?
Okay, so definitely not lah. Without an existing HDB flat, okay, you would not be able to actually opt to get a special bridging loan for your shortfall amount.
Yeah, so that is to have more clarity to the ground itself in case that you have a specific request from your buyers out there thinking that, oh, I can still apply for a bridging loan, but they don't have a house to bridge for that or even a flat for that purpose. All right, so let's talk about the payment scheme that we are looking at. So very unique products, executive condominium. We have the normal payment scheme, which is the MPS, followed by our deferred payment scheme, which is the DPS. So majority where we see through the past couple of years, a lot of buyers are opting for the DPS, Deferred Payment Scheme.
Yes.
And if you look through in terms of when we are doing the booking itself, likelihood is more than 85% of the buyers actually opt in for Deferred Payment Scheme. Well, the keywords Jim has actually addressed earlier on is a 3% premium. But when they look into the interest rate right now, where the banks are offering is almost about 4.2% for any of the BUC. So some of the buyers would actually opt for these options to hold on to that. They let the price increase by the 3% is fine, but the payment, the mortgage repayment will be closer to the TOP period. So that will probably put a lot of ease to all the buyers out there rather than holding on to another loan amount where, you know, some of them may opt in for a normal payment scheme where financially they feel that they are clean, as in no second loan. Some of the buyers, if they are serving their first loan itself, they could actually opt in for the deferred payment scheme. Yeah.
There's a question that comes in. Okay, why EC? What do we see ECs and moving? What do we see ECs trend moving forward? Supply? Yeah. Will prices increase or fall? Are we anticipating any changes in policies? Should buyers buy now? Is this the right timing?
Okay, so we think ECs is a very, very highly sought after asset in the market. And that's very clear when we look at all the past historical EC launch. They always sell very, very well in its first launch, and then second launch, some even sold out. Okay, average is about 60 to 70% after the first launch. All right, and if we look at existing current market supply, in terms of the existing EC units for sale, if we include Copen Grand, it's only about 500 units, which is only about 15% of the total existing market supply of private housing that can be bought by consumers today. All right, and I think in terms of supply, again, going back, there are only another 5 plots of EC lands that will come up over the next 1 to 2 years. Not just that, price is one of the most important factor, where I shared earlier. We are still at the $600 per square feet range, whereas every other land plot that's already been bidded has already exceeded $700 per square feet. I think very good point you brought about this income ceiling, because also, as I shared earlier, with a 16,000 income, buyers 30 years loan can only loan about 950K. So that's a huge amount of cash shortfall that the buyers have to come up in order to enter our Lumina Grand, where prices start from about 1.3x million for 3-bedder. So in fact, perfect timing. This morning, there's actually a news article that we saw in news. I think we also plan to share it with you today. Jaden or Jason, would you like to share this article and you can speak about it?
I reckon that if you have actually followed the business time, there's articles that mention that executive condo prices are stretching affordability limits. Is it time to refine the model? All right. So specifically, we just pull out these articles that maybe we can talk about it. It's also good to know that will the government actually try to refine the models of maybe pushing the income ceiling to a higher ground? So maybe I'll just share a bit on previously when they adjusted the income ceiling from 14,000 to 16,000 was in the year of 2019. And that was the time when CDL also launched their Piedmont Grand. All right. So they are very happy about that when they got their units sold very fast. And because of the new boundary on new limits, 16,000, we do see that a couple of EC on the ground like Copen Grand or even like Turnet was well received and is sold, fully sold after that. Okay, so the key question right now is after 2019, I would say the next review maybe on 2025, as we push the boundary of the land prices of the EC right now to 700 plus, and we see our Simlian bidding on the Tampines plot is 721 PSF PPR. So I reckon that household income need to do some review. Okay, but of course, that is something that we always ask ourselves. Nothing comes free, right? So if they adjusted the income ceiling itself, what other things they will probably look into that? Where we see a lot of classifications being done recently by HDB, doing the standard, they're doing the plus, they're doing the prime itself, where the rest of the classification, they allows you to buy at a certain prime area, but obviously when you have to hold on to the unit itself, it's more than 10 years. and maybe there's a bit of a clawback, which is your 6%, things like that. Would you think that the HDB will tweak that on EC as well to have the MOP of 10 years rather than 5 years? So this is always our questions in our mind. The ICs are talking about that. Yes, we reckon that coming forward in 2025, there are more EC plot of land, and definitely there's a lot of voices behind, and they wanted to push their income limits to a higher ground. But will there be an offset in future to be? So that is where our bosses will ask whether it's a good time to buy right now. I feel that 2024 being our only EC, and we are looking at Lumina Grand specifically, is very near to our future, the future of the new town, which is Tengah itself. If you're going to miss this one, I mean, we look at how the government has actually instrumentally built the infrastructure of Tengah Township. Specifically, they bring in our ACS school. All right, so that ACS school itself is very, very powerful. All right, and Jim was always telling me, where can you find an EC so near to an elite school?
Branded school.
Yeah, it's a branded school. All right, so you can go and lease, you can go and check. Fundamentally, we can't find. Yeah, so this is a very key, important sell point. And we are looking forward to the 10 years later, your Jurong regional line will also be ready. There's a lot of upside with your Jurong Lake District and the Jurong Innovation District. So there's a lot of perks. If you're looking at the locale and our future upside, why not now? Having to say so, the PSF is still very affordable. In terms of the specs, okay, so when we're looking at Altura or Lumina Grand itself, some of you has actually asked me what is the difference between the room size. Okay, typically we are looking at Altura itself is about 8.4 to 8.6 for their bedrooms, and only Lumina Grand is about 9 square meters for all the common rooms, and some of the premium 3-bedroom of the dumbbell units, the common room is about 9.5 square meters. So that is something that you can shout out if you are talking about in terms of practical space that your buyers are looking forward. Yeah, so in terms of facility wise, we are not away from, because it's considered a full-fledged of a condo facility. We have the lap pool, we have the spa pool, jacuzzi, we have the kids pool. We also have the tennis court. But one thing itself is our side gate actually links us to the Bukit Batok Road quicker, faster, and that is your exit. All right, at the same point of time, just now I'm sharing with you, we are just stone throw. All right, if you have the excessive strength itself, you can throw the stone over, that is your Tengah town. All right, and you can actually just walk over to the Tengah, minutes walk to our town center as well. I mean, I'm just giving my opinion for that itself. Maybe my other IC also have others sharing thoughts on that as well. Maybe Jayden, you want to share what is between Altura and Lumina Grand?
Well, Lumina Grand is definitely closer to the elite school, okay,
Yeah.
where it happens within 1
1
km. Okay, just directly opposite across the road along of Bukit Batok Road. Okay, less than a minute walk. Okay, you go over to the new town. Okay, and yeah, it's I believe that, okay, in terms of finishes, quality finishes delivered by CDL is definitely good.
Much
as well.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, that was what was going to be discussed. So, but my fellow ICs have already moved on to that, which we wanted to say that Lumina Grand and Altura, although they are side by side, one is at Bukit Batok East Avenue 8 and the other one is at Avenue 5. So side by side, yet near, but yet not so near. So Lumina Grand is still at the top of it, at the tip of it, like what Jayden has shared, nearer to the Tengah, within 1 km to ACS. Yeah, so these are the perks. And CDL also, being a renowned developer.
And TOP much faster.
Yes.
Construction progress.
Sui, yeah.
Yeah. So recently I just went by the actual site, and you can see Altura, in fact they launched earlier, but they have barely even started. Whereas for Lumina Grand, certain blocks up to level 6 Up level 6. So this is the
Fantastic.
efficiency when you work with a developer with such a strong track record like CDL, 40 years household brand. Very important slide to show us the value proposition that the EC actually gives us. So if you look at the light blue line, we can see that the average PSF of the EC is about 1478, which is pretty much the average PSF of our Lumina Grand launch. Okay, it is no. Sorry, correction. Our new EC sales is about 1362. Okay, this was before the launch of Lumina Grand. Okay, and then the condo resale is about 1478. So you can see, even with the Lumina Grand launch, we are still very much a similar price as a condo resale on the market, which is extremely good value when you enter something that's a brand new 99-year leasehold. Okay, more than that, the gap to the new condo launch in the OCR region is more than 50%. I think for all of us who are familiar with the OCR market, the prices are exceeding 2000 PSF on average easily. Furthermore, what we look in the market moving forward is because of the harmonization of the gross floor area, URA, okay? In future, and we'll see it as soon as the Lentor Mansion launch, we'll see PSF prices going up as high as 2004, 2005 per square feet on average. So at a per square feet entry price of Lumina Grand as about 1004 PSF, it's really a very strong entry price, and that is your future upside once it turns into a full condominium status. Maybe I just want to add one more point, because based on the research that we found, we do see a record-breaking number of $1 million HGBs over the last few years. I think we are already exceeding more than 100 for last year, if I remember correctly. Okay, and these are the highest numbers of record. So if I look at it, previously, historically, the $1 million flats were restricted to the central areas of Singapore. Your Duxton, your Boon Tiong, your Bukit Merah, okay? But nowadays, okay, one key difference maker today is that we even see $1 million flats in the OCR regions. And that only happened really in the last 2 to 3 years. Yeah, last 2 years, in fact. At your Pasir Ris, at your Tampines, at your Punggol, I think even Woodlands had, and just a few months ago, Bukit Panjang as well. So as we see these $1 million flats coming into OCR region, just think about the amount of cash that these owners are exiting their properties with, and where will they go? That is also another fuel to drive our EC prices up, especially.
Another question. What can we expect staying in the vicinity? I think that has been touched on by earlier on by my 3 Js, right? On the vicinity, what we have, the school, the amenities, tengah, transformation. Now, currently, there are so many construction in the area. Very dusty. Coming to that will be our TOP, right? By then?
Yes, so I think we really have to look at the timeline. If we look at Bukit View Primary School, the primary school that's opposite, it will coincide very nicely with our TOP, which is scheduled in 2027. If we look at Altura, that's right beside, based on construction right now, they will likely complete after us. But by then, it should just be the finishing works and maybe just the ground, the facilities. So it shouldn't be very dusty work. If you're talking about the Tengah Estate right opposite, in fact, talking about that, that's where your nearest whole bunch of amenities are going to be, because it's going to be a neighborhood town center where there's more than 40 F&B, retail and services options. And that, in fact, is going to complete by the middle of next year. So I don't see, but by the time you move in 2027, there's not going to be much construction. There's probably going to be more people.
Not much dust then already. All right. Now,
Sure.
So we don't need to elaborate more about dust, but we just look beyond that, where the government has instrumentally designed this Punggol town as well. People also say it's like ulu ulu, you know, and things are very raw. There's a lot of upcoming buildings over there, and when dust has settled, you know what's the prices right now? Punggol tends to age very nicely in terms of the prices, comfortably getting the 500K kind of a profit as well as some of the units when they sold. So we have to look beyond the dust. At times, you know, when Punggol was designed, same thing goes to the Tengah itself, where they wanted to specifically design a town where Tengah is concerned. 2027 to 2028 will be the prime year that a lot of estates will be ready. And they do not wish to look beyond that or maybe build beyond that. So comfortable on our structure of the TOP itself will be very nicely designed to enjoy seamlessly connectivities over there. Yeah.
I know for second timer, okay, when the buyer need to pay the resale levy. Okay, so for those EC purchaser who still currently own, okay, their HDB flat, so upon TOP, they are actually given 6 months to dispose away, okay, dispose their existing HDB flat. So once after, okay, upon completion of their HDB, okay, they actually offset from their sales proceed. Okay, so for those who have actually sold, okay, way before, okay, then okay, they have to make make good in cash payment for their resale levy, okay, before collecting of their key. Will there be any leeway given by IRAS should buyer not be able to dispose their HDB within 6 months, or will ABSD have to be paid
If not sold after 6 months.
Okay, so there's no ABSD payable, okay, even it's not sold after 6 months. So it's not applicable, okay, to in context of purchasing of EC. All right, then if you were to exceed, okay, the 6 months, okay, then you just got to write in, okay, to the HDB for appeal to further extend, okay, the process of selling the existing HDB flat.
Yeah. So in this case, IRAS is not involved, but it's actually more to the HDB because the resale levy is not paid to IRAS, but more to our HDB board. Yeah.
Based on our experience, if you're able to show proof that you are marketing this flat, it's a fair value, you know, and really there seems to be no buyers or there's no good opportunity to sell. I mean, you write into HDB, they will usually consider your appeal favorably. Yeah.
Yeah, HDB is not that 无情, you know, not so heartless one. They will actually look into it.
Swing to the mind of the younger buyers is beside a BTO itself, you should be relooking into the EC options. All right, because many of them are looking at the BTO options, but we have to signify to them that if you're getting something on the BTO classification, there's probably the 10 years of waiting time. You know, you probably can fulfill the MOP. You know, these are the things that is weighing in their mind. If they are on a certain age itself, how many 10 years do you have? So you have to get them to think around it. And always, if the parents are very supportive and it doesn't really hurt them very deeply, you know, the first 20%, if you can get a blessing from the parents itself, I feel that this is a very good move. So typically, we have seen that in terms of the growth itself, and we have shown the chart whenever we are looking at the EC itself, when it's sold, the first 3 room or 4 room that they are getting, the amount is definitely better for you to just offload and you can just revisit your BTO again or even getting a resale. With that kind of cash out itself, you can go to whatever HDB resale flats that you are longing to have. You know, at that point of time, then you will think of, all right, that's another level or there's another phase of life. You have to stay very close to the parents, and you could even get the proximity housing grant that stay close to the parents to help out on the parents.
Because I think OrangeTee is one of the only agencies that we are backed by a very, very strong research and analytics team, that we can deliver trusted information to our consumers. So it's a very, very good place to engage.
Okay, so lastly, I would like to summarize, okay, the benefits of purchasing an executive condominium. Okay, so do remember, okay, there's 2 different payment scheme, okay, normal progressive payment and deferred payment scheme. All right, and special bridging loan, okay, if there's any shortfall amount in one of your payments. All right, then for first timer, okay, there's actually up to 30,000 CPF housing grant. Okay, and there's no second home loan restriction. Okay, so assuming that, okay, probably you still have your existing home loan in your HDB, okay, and you purchase an EC, okay, you are not restricted to second home loan restriction. All right, so not required to sell your existing HDB flat, okay, while waiting for your EC to TOP. Okay, so at least you still got a place to stay. Okay, then there's no ethnic quota, okay, no additional buyer stamp duty. Okay, then you get to enjoy the condominium lifestyle. And this plot of land, okay, Lumina Grand is heavily subsidized. So that's why we can get to see, okay, 1,400 to 1,500 per square foot pricing as compared to private, okay, at least a 2,000 and above.